God is always with you when you are in trouble. Failure has taught me a profound lesson. When you are rich, you dare not lend money to anyone, but when you are poor, you do not know who to ask for help. And there is also a saying, when you are in trouble, you know who your friends are. When you are in trouble, you know who your friends are. It is true, only when you encounter difficulties and deadlocks, do we understand that in this life, finding someone to help you overcome difficulties is difficult. People compare life to an apple. I have an apple, I give you half, it is friendship. I take a bite, the rest is for you, it is love. I do not take a bite, I give it all to you, it is family. I hide it, saying that I am also hungry, it is the reality of society. That is how society is. When you are rich, you have many friends. When you have power in your hands, you have hundreds of followers. When you fail, you see how cruel society is. Friends have abandoned you, but society wants to push you deeper into suffering. A priest said that he had just returned to an unsuccessful parish. His ineffective work was opposed by parishioners and was ridiculed and looked down upon by fellow priests. It seemed that he could not find support, sympathy, or comfort from his superiors or his brothers. He was alone in shame and lonely failure. It is true that when it rains, you will know who will be the one to bring you an umbrella. When something happens, you will know who will treat you sincerely. There are people who only know how to embroider flowers on brocade, but do not know how to bring coal in the winter. There are also people who only know how to add fuel to the fire, but do not know how to treat you sincerely. How lucky we Christians are, because there is always one who never abandons us. He always follows our lives. He is always present when we are sad and disappointed. After his resurrection, through his appearances, it seems that Jesus always comes to those who are suffering and sad so that he can comfort and support them. He appears as a gardener and asks when he sees the suffering of others, "Woman, why are you crying?" John 20:13, who is she looking for? And what about the two disciples on the road to Emmaus? In the same way, he appears as a companion and sympathizes with their worried and confused thoughts. What are you talking about as you walk? Luke 24:17. In today's Gospel, he comes to the disciples as a colleague, concerned about the success or failure of his friends. When the disciples failed, they caught nothing all night. John 21:3b, he suggested, "Cast the net on the right side of the boat and you will find some." John 21:6a. The resurrected Jesus is still present and there. He is very close in our lives, when we work hard and especially endure failures. God is present to sympathize with our hardships, and sometimes, he finds a way to help us untangle the knots that we cannot escape. In our lives today, perhaps there are many times when we have stumbled, but no one sympathizes or supports us. Sometimes we even gossip, look down on us, and ridicule us. Each time we stumble, it is painful, and even more painful when we do not receive sympathy or support from our brothers and sisters. We are alone in pain. We have to face difficulties alone. We have to stand up alone. Sometimes we feel tired, bored, and want to give up and let life push us. But let's trust, because God knows everything. God still looks at us as he once looked at Peter with affection. God once promised, "Even if a mother abandons her child, I will not abandon you." God still gently picks us up when we stumble on the road. Following the example of the apostles, we must know how to listen to recognize God's will and carry it out quickly. They followed God's suggestion, so they succeeded. They cast the net, but were not able to pull it in because of the number of fish. John 21:6b. May God help us always realize that God always loves us so that we will never be disappointed in ourselves, but always stand up and rebuild our lives after falling. May we also learn from God to always support each other, and help each other through the ups and downs of life. Amen.